Good morning, good afternoon, hello again. Well, it's time to show up again. It's been 6 sweet months since I sent you my last video. I remember exactly where I was sitting in North Berwick in the northeast of Scotland to the east of Edinburgh. And I want to tell you that a whole bunch of things have happened. Today, I have a topic that I'd love to share with you, and it's one simple word. It's come out of a conversation with my very best friend, and it's something I have been cogitating over and contemplating on, if that's the right way. The word is simply this: discernment. Now, as you know, I always have done this. I do my darndest to be honest, authentic, real. When things are great, they're great. When they're not, I share that too. So I just want to give you some backstory to this word discernment, because last week I got slapped by the universe because of this word discernment. So I've also got some fairy cards that I'm playing with. I'll draw one later. So the reason I've been so quiet this last year is, you probably already know this, my mum passed away in July 2025. And a bunch of things happened after that. Of course, there is the grieving, the mourning, the clearing out, the selling, the estate, the will, the family, the all of the stuff that I'm sure you have dealt with at some point in your life when you have lost someone close to you. And a whole bunch of things. I thought I knew where I was wiggling forward to, kind of changed my mind. I thought I was going to live in Portugal. That didn't work out for me. I decided it was not the right place. And then in January, I just took a step back and I just thought, I'm going to let the year ride out. Give myself a year to just get to grips with myself and kind of just find my feet as I go. My mom was my person. She was the person I physically spent the most amount of time with. I had done quite a lot in terms of looking after her in the last 18 months. And it's just taken me some time to recalibrate. So, one of the things I did right up until she passed away, I had been exceptionally busy. And from the moment she passed away, I was like, what am I going to do with all this love? Where am I going to channel it? Where am I going to put it? I need something to keep me busy. So once I tidied out her flat and sorted out all of those things, I'm like, I need to be busy. I need to have something to do to keep my body busy. I also needed to keep my cash flow flowing, like we all do, wherever your cash flow comes from. And so one of the things that I figured I could do in this time was some live-in care work. Now, that is some of the most honorable work I believe people can do. So care work, nursing, and doctors and teachers. I think that's some of the most honorable work people can do. And it was difficult. However, I found another island that I love. And without rambling too much, when it came to the end of the year, I thought, right, I think this is done. However, I have a big something that I'm bringing to life over here. And returning to Jersey kind of could have helped that along. So I got a call from the agency and they said, someone's sick, can you come back? And there was something in the way that it was worded for this particular position, because 3 weeks prior to that, I had said no to two positions that I knew were not right for me. I knew they were not right for me and I was not right for them. And I just said, no, thank you. However, I thought, you know what? Mum's anniversary is on the 18th. On the 19th, I can wake up super early at 4 a.m., drive down to Portsmouth, get on the ferry, and come to Jersey. So I said yes. There was a niggle. You know that feeling? So head's like, yeah, I can do this. This will be good for me. How lovely to wake up and have another little fresh new start. The niggle was there. I got to this placement, and when I tell you that within 2 hours, I was on my phone to the manager going, this is not for me. And I thought, come on, Kate, just give it a little moment, because generally it takes me, might be different for someone else, 24 hours to calibrate into a new position. So you've done their whole routine in terms of personal care, in terms of understanding the house or the animals or anyone else that's there, understanding their meals, understanding medication. 24 hours, you've just got to, okay, I've done 24 hours. I can do this. That's what it's like and has been like for me. So I didn't send that message and I thought, come on, Kate, just calm the farm, ride out 24 hours. 24 hours later, I wrote an even longer WhatsApp and said, this is not for me. I absolutely cannot do this for 3 weeks. You need to replace me. Now, what's interesting is if I'd got sick, they would have had to replace me that day. But I was saying, please get me out of here. Um, and I was deadly serious. I thought I'm not the right person for this. I'm not going to be able to give them the care that they need. So that was discernment for me, knowing that. What is interesting though is so often when we either have a yes or a no. Well, even I don't know or I don't want to make a decision is also a decision. But let's just do the polarities of yes and no. Once we say yes, once we've gone through the discernment and gone yes, we have two choices. We either go through with it because we've said yes, no matter what, or we go, am I allowed to make a new decision? So what's interesting is I started saying, oh my God, I've made a mistake. I even used that word, I've made a mistake. What I needed a fat slap, not a little nudge, not a gentle, come on, Kate. I needed a big fat slap, dish, dish from my universe because it is done. The time for this live-in care work is done. If it's a family member one day or a friend, that's a completely different thing. I knew that it was for the year post mum and I negotiated that, right? So this was so interesting. However, the discernment is about now going, what do I need to do now? So I can go, I knew it was a no. I said yes. I got slapped by the universe. Okay. What I don't want to do, and what I would never want you to do, is now start judging myself and feeling really crappy about myself for having said yes when I knew it was a no. So the trick is get the lesson, take the slap, lick the wounds, make a new decision that feels more integrous and authentic and aligned. So that is what I did. Now, what's fascinating is that all it's done for me is because I said yes to this assignment, it got me to my no faster. That's the gift, right? So, did I negotiate the no? Yes, but it gave me a gift. The gift is, Kate, this is not what you're meant to be doing. This is not what you're meant to be doing. Here's your lesson. Because what I also understand is that if I had said no to the niggle, I would have come back a week later and gone into two placements that I'd been to in before, which were relatively easy and aligned for me. And it would have kind of kept the frog water warm, right? It would have kept me going. And this is not what I'm meant to be doing anymore. What am I meant to be doing? Here, this, showing up for you. So let me pull a fairy card right now. I was given these for my birthday. Look how cute they are. They're so little. Traveling fairy cards because all my other cards are packed up with all my stuff on the sea on the way somewhere. So I'm going to pull a little fairy card. Right, I can't look. I've got to pull it blind. Right, there we go. Here's the card. Temptation. Oh, I'm not going to read what it says. That's so interesting. And of course, there's the little snake. So I think this for me is also around discernment. What is the temptation that we give into when we know it's a no? So, can we be tempted by the wrong things? So, let's say you've given up alcohol. Will you be tempted to say yes when your girlfriend say, "Come on, just have one little glass of champagne"? When you are on your exercise regime and someone says, "Oh, come on, let's just take the weekend off," and you know that actually you had a 10K walk planned. Temptation could be when someone says, "Oh gosh, I'm trying to think on the fly here," but it's just what are we tempted to do when the discernment is saying no. So perhaps this is relevant for you at the moment. What are you being tempted by? The opposite's also true is are you being tempted by some beautiful, big, bold, scary dreams? Something that's so large it scares the bejesus out of you. That's what's been going on for me. So what I know is that I have something big I'm pulling into the world. And so now the next few months is about me staying focused, staying aligned, staying true. And I wonder if that's true for you. Are you being tempted and distracted? Are you being tempted off your discerning? No. Are people asking things of you? Are you tempted to say yes to distractions and being very, very busy? Because I think being very, very busy is one of our biggest temptations. I know it's been mine in the past. It's not my temptation anymore, but I can be tempted by distraction. So the care work in Jersey has been a distraction to keep my heart and my head busy while I went through the year's grieving process of my mum. Now it's done. Slip, slap. Come on, Kate. It's time. So, my darling, if you are listening still, thank you. Do you need some help? So, this is what I'm meant to be doing. I'm available again. I've opened up my diary. I'm showing up again. And I have a couple of things that we can do. I'm not going to say we have to do X, Y, or Z. If you feel you need some help, maybe you're making some decisions. Maybe you have something that you are closing out between now and, I don't know, in 6 weeks or the rest of the year. Maybe you have a big project that you are starting. Maybe you're starting over and you're over 50, like me. Maybe you simply have a project that you want to bring to fruition, A to B, and you need some very clear, solid accountability to get it done. Perhaps you simply need an ear once a month, someone that can listen so that you can hear yourself. Because maybe your friends can't hold that space for you. They can love you and they can do their very best, but perhaps you would benefit from someone that can hear what you're saying and reflect it back to you and ask you some tougher questions. Perhaps you've been wanting to do a private retreat. I don't know what you need. So I'm not saying this is how I can work. What I'm saying is I'm available for work. I'm also available for huge estate clearing projects. I did a beautiful project last year. I could be available for speaking. I could be available for helping you write your book. So many things that I could be available for. What I suggest you do, so don't do this if you just want a little chat with me. Send me a WhatsApp. If you would like to explore how you most need support from me and what that could look like, here's you, here's me. Let's plug it in together and figure out what you need, how long you need it for, what your budget is, and I will do my best to wiggle and figure that out with you. So below the video, somewhere on this page, there will be a link. Just book a call. All I'm asking is that I will send you, say, a couple of questions before the call, just to give me a heads up as to where you're at. And yeah, help me show up. So if you need some help, I'm here. And discernment is the word. Thanks for listening. It's felt really good to just show up again and say hello. And I can't even apologize for disappearing for the last 6 months. I'm here today. That's what matters. Maybe that's the message today as well. Show up one more time. So much love to you.